All right, now we're going to show you how we do our grafting. I have a couple tools that we're going to use. This one is a company called Zenport, and this is a V-top grafting tool, and I have it right here, and we'll show you how that works in a second. There's another one here. This is a Zenport also. This is much better for smaller branches, and I'll show you how I do that here in a minute. But let's get on to this particular one. One of the most important things that you want to do is you want to find out which branch you want to take for your scion. And so I've kind of looked at this, and I looked at the thickness of this one, and then I came over here and looked at the thickness of this and said, okay, it's almost best to match up thicknesses. You don't have to, but in this case, I prefer to match the thicknesses up as close as I can. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this tool in here. It's a little gingerly to get it in there, and make sure that I've got it exactly where I want it. And I'm going to cut it, press down. Okay. So there's the scion piece. You can see that we would call it, that's almost like the pointed part of it, okay, and that'll slip right down into the rootstock. So now the thing is to do, a lot of times what I like to do is I like to match it up and say, okay, where is that thickness? Is it down in this area here, Rick? What do you think?
I think it has to
Up
go
a little bit?
up a little bit.
So somewhere in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say it's right in this area right here. So, okay, so we're going to take, I've marked these, so R for rootstock, S for scion. So the rootstock would be down, facing down, and so we're going to set this in here and try to get it as even as possible. And then we're going to hold the top here, press on it. Slide that out. So there we go. Beautiful. It's gorgeous. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, you can do a dry kind of a placement there and see how that fits in there. It fits in pretty well, I'd say. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to pull it back out. So now the next thing we want to talk about is a product called Buddy Tape. And you can buy this online. It's perforated. It has a piece here that you can just pull it off like so. And what we do is we use this just like tape, just like electrical tape or anything else. And it stretches, and as it stretches, it goes on and on. It's like a piece of bubble gum almost. And as it stretches, then you hold it onto there and wrap it around the plant. So it works very, very well that way. So we're gonna take another piece off here, and I'm going to find the best place to have this set into here. Do I want to do it this way? I think so. I think I want to do it like this. Okay. And you want to, press it. If you don't have anybody to hold on to it, sometimes what you can do is get a person like Rick and hold on to it there just for a second till I can get it started. Okay. All right, I got it, Rick. Let's try it and see if I got it. Okay. It kind of sticks on itself. Rick's going to help me here. Got the tape mixed up. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it is always good to have someone else help you. I'm going to go up a little bit higher on the graft. All right, go ahead and let it go for a second. All right, should be fine. Should be fine. And if you look at that, it's really close. It's very, very nice. What we'll do is we will take a long teriyaki skewer, and we'll put one on either side of it and tie it onto it. Now the other thing you could do is you could say, hey, let's, what are we going to do with this other part of the scion? What we could do with it is we could graft it onto this particular plant, but I don't really want to do that. What we'll do with this one is I'll take a razor blade and cut that off, and then that'll just heal itself off. I will take this, and I can leave that cut on there. I would possibly use some rooting hormone, dip this in some rooting hormone, and root this on. Okay. Now, one of the things that I didn't really address was, why did we want to graft this particular plant onto this? Now, I know that we talked about before, we said that the rootstock is very important. If the rootstock is super vigorous, then whatever you put on as the scion is going to grow much faster than on the regular plant. This is Boswellia nana. It's a slow-growing, cliff-dwelling plant on the island of Socotra. And this particular plant that's down below is one of my hybrids. It has 3 different parents in this hybrid, and it's very vigorous. It really shoots off a lot of growth every year. So that's why I've placed this on top of it, to see if we can get a lot of growth to come out of this section here. The other thing is to produce flowers, new shoots. More flowers, you can pollinate it. More shoots, you can propagate it. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the other tool that we have here. This is another one that's made by the same company, and it's usually for much smaller branches. I just cut a piece of, this is some cat claw vine that we have on the side of the building. You guys propagated some of this from seed a few weeks back. But I want to show you that if you look at this tool here, that little piece inside there kind of gives you an idea of the size that it's going to cut. All right, so I'm going to set it inside that little section there, and just make sure that it's nice and even on there. Okay, and then I'm going to press down, and I'm going to pull it off. And as you can see, I'm going to pull that apart. It's a perfect little puzzle piece. And so what I would do with this, if I had, this was a scion and this was a rootstock of another plant, I could just slide that in there and then get my buddy tape and then wrap it up. So that's another way. And I've used this tool on some smaller branches on some other plants, and it works quite well. So this is just another, and it's pretty much like the other one. It's a cleft graft. But it's for much smaller branches. Okay, so that's just a very easy way of doing this, and I hope you guys can try that.